Cyber Spartans, this is Sunny Ao. I'm going to be introducing and guiding you through Activity 1 of the Scratch project. The main concepts you should focus on are broadcast blocks. First, what are they? They allow for the continuation of a program through a broadcast block telling another stack of blocks that it's time for them to begin executing their orders. Let's start. So first you're going to want to scroll down the sprite list until you see the sprite called numbers 51. So right here. You're going to want to click on it and you're going to see these in place already. So you want to go to the events tab, which is this one right here. And then you're going to want to drag out the when I receive message 1 block. You change it. So click on this and change it to number 51. And if you don't have that, you can just make a new one by writing it here. After that, you're going to want to delete it and instead take this and drag it here. Also take this one as well, the broadcast message 1 block, and change it to 51. And if message 51 isn't there already, you're going to want to just make new message and name it message 51. After that, go to looks and take out hide and connect it to the previous two. And you're done. Good job.
Hey Cyber Spartans. So for activity number 2, we will add Washington DC's sales tax rate to the sales tax list. In order to do that, we will need to go to the variables palette and click where it says sales tax. Then the list should appear on the stage. So once it appears, you want to scroll all the way down and you notice it doesn't have the 51st state, which is Washington DC. So we need to add it. So you will have to click on the plus sign in the lower left corner, then enters Washington DC's sales tax rate, which is 0.06. And once you entered it, you have completed activity number 2.
Hello, Cyber Spartans. Welcome to activity 3 for our Scratch project this week. So now that we have all the puzzle pieces ready from the previous 2 activities, we're ready to build the after-tax price calculator for our US Capitol. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over to our sprites here and we're going to select the script area of Sonic. So go ahead and press on Sonic. At this point in time, we have built all the blocks for all 50 states. However, there is nothing for Washington, D.C. So we're going to construct the programming block to calculate the after-tax price of goods and services for D.C. in this sprite. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the events palette and we're going to drag the when I receive blank message to the script area and change it to message 51, which we have created earlier. So that's going to be this block right here. I drag it out and let's change it to message 51. Perfect. So similar to the other states, Sonic will ask about the cost of the item before tax. So to do that, we will add an ask question and wait block in the sensing palette right below this piece of code here. So let's go to the sensing palette and the ask and wait. So obviously we're going to have to change this, this text right here. And what we're going to change it to is how much is the item before tax? So how much is the item before tax? Awesome. So once your code looks like this up until this point, you're ready to move on. So let's go to the looks palette and drag the say. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the say blank for X amount of seconds. So that's going to be this piece of code here. And we're going to drag it right under this code here. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this from hello to the after tax price of the item at District of Columbia is, and we're going to let this go for 3 seconds. Perfect. So now here comes the fun part. So we're going to need to build a block to calculate the after-tax cost of an item. But how do we even figure this out? Given the before-tax cost, what would be the formula to calculate the after-tax cost? So the answer to that is that the answer tax cost equals the before tax cost plus the before tax cost times the sales tax rate. So we're going to go ahead and use these mathematical expressions to build the rest of our code. So we're going to go over to our operators tab here. And we're going to go ahead and pick this piece of code here. So blank times blank. Let's go ahead and drag that out onto our script area. So the first thing we're going to fill in is going to be this blank space here on the left. And we're going to go over to our sensing tab and drag answer on in there so that your code looks just like this. And then that second blank spot will be filled with the sales tax list, which is equal to the sales tax rate of Washington, D.C. Let's go over to variables, and then let's go to, here we go, and let's go ahead and drag it right in there. Instead of having item 1, let's make sure we change this to 51. Awesome. So just as a quick reminder, this first spot here is equal to the before tax cost. And the second spot here, the second piece of code here is equal to the sales tax rate of Washington, D.C. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this operators tab, and we're going to this time select this piece of code. So blank plus blank. Let's go ahead and drag that on into our script area. The first blank spot will be the answer block again, which again is equal to the before tax cost. So let's go back to sensing and drag the answer piece of code in. However, the second blank spot will be filled with this piece of code that we just built here. So let's go ahead and drag this whole piece of code and drop it on into the second blank spot. Awesome job. So last but not least, we're going to add the $ in front of the calculated value to represent the cost in US dollars. So luckily, the operators block can also handle letter or string data type, meaning we can just go ahead and type that, that $ on into our operators block. So to do that, we're going to use the join block from the operators tab, this one right here. And instead of Apple, let's go ahead and just type that $. And then in this second blank spot, we're going to again drag this whole piece of code here that we built and put it there, so that your code up until this point should look like this. So we have our final step. Obviously, we can't just put this code here and call it a day. We need to add the say block so that all the puzzle pieces fit together correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over into our looks palette, and we're going to grab this say block. Let's go ahead and just drag it right under this. And then let's drag this whole piece of code here that we have been building into that first blank spot on the left. Now again, instead of 2 seconds, let's go ahead and put 3 seconds. It gives us a little bit more time. And you have successfully completed activity 3. Awesome job.